What is up everyone, Diluc here with another Genshin Impact video. In today's video, we will have a look at the differences between two of the best damage dealers in the game. With the recent addition of Hu Tao, a lot of players are wondering how she performs as a main DPS compared to Diluc. I will be comparing their performance at a very high level since they are geared with their best in slot weapons and artifacts. Now this won't only be a direct damage comparison because I will also point out the nuances between both of their playstyles. So who's better between Hu Tao and Diluc? Let's find out. Before looking at the showcase, I will quickly compare their build options and level of investment. In terms of weapons, both of them have their best in slot 5-star equipped in this showcase. For Diluc, it will be the Wolf's Gravestone at level 90 and refinement 2, and for Hu Tao, it will be the Staff of Homa, which is also level 90 and refinement 2. As for the other options for free-to-play players and light spenders, I believe that Diluc has a bit more options since he isn't tied to the passive of his weapon. When looking at Hu Tao, her best in slot has so much synergy that it is better than any other weapon, even at R1. However, this doesn't mean she won't perform well without it, because her performance also depends on artifact stats. When it comes to artifacts, I'm using the Crimson Witch of Flames, which is what I consider the best in slot set for a vaporized comp. The 4-piece effect will benefit both of them, despite Hu Tao not being able to trigger all stacks. For that reason, she has slightly more flexibility for what set to use. For example, you could run a 2-piece Crimson and 2-piece Glad if it grants better substats, which is the priority for her. On the other hand, Diluc should only ever run the Crimson Witch set because it seems to be tailored around his E, which will trigger all stacks. In terms of leveling, I invested a bit more into Diluc since he's level 90 with level 9 talents. He doesn't require this high investment by any means and can easily stay at level 80. In the case of my Hu Tao, she is level 80 Ascension 6 with level 9 autos, a level 8 skill, and a level 8 burst. In my opinion, Hu Tao can also stay at level 80, but she would strongly benefit from the base HP that level 90 would give her. For their constellations, my Diluc is C2, which gives him a slight damage buff as well as some attack speed upon getting hit. His constellations are interesting, but he feels complete at C0, and those won't really change his playstyle a whole lot. As for Hu Tao, she is Constellation 1, which is insanely valuable and probably one of the best C1 in the entire game. This basically removes one of her main weaknesses, being the stamina management when doing charge attacks. The rest of her constellations are also pretty good, especially her C6 for the insane buff it provides, but this isn't something I would consider since her performance is very good even at C0. Alright, so here are both of their stats side by side, and since you guys are now familiar with my units and their gear, let's jump into the comparison. Okay, so after playing and testing both of them against different domains, against bosses, and in the Abyss, I now have a better understanding of their strength and weaknesses as units when it comes to their playstyle and damage potential. Keep in mind that it will be basing those conclusions in the context of a vaporized comp with Genshin, which is the highest damage ceiling obtainable with both units. As for Diluc, despite being slightly biased, I'll admit it, I believe that he remains the gold standard of a main DPS. He has strong single target damage and great AoE, having a low E skill cooldown with good energy generation, a low cost on his burst, and a very easy to learn animation cancel. Diluc's damage is readily available in almost all situations. His rotations will feel smooth and can be done at any time, even when his autos are imbued with Pyro after using his burst, which isn't the case for Hu Tao. On top of that, his Claymore and his burst have lots of crowd control potential, which can result in higher DPS and better control of the battlefield depending on the situations. To my eyes, his main weakness is the auto targeting on his E, but this is something minor compared to the rest of his strength, and it affects other units. Now, for Hu Tao, it is clear that her single target damage is stronger than Diluc. In a one-shot meld setup scenario with her burst, or against a single opponent with Vaporize and her charge attacks, she will deal insane damage. Her E gives her an amazing attack boost through HP scaling, and it has a very reasonable cooldown, making it easy to do rotations. However, she remains more situational than Diluc because she has to meet certain criteria in order to pump out as much damage as possible. She has to remain below 50% HP, she has to have her E activated, she has to have enough stamina to perform as many charge attacks as possible, and those charge attacks need to be cancelled in order to go above Diluc's ceiling. This is a bit tricky to learn, but it makes her into a unit that is very interesting and unique. So who's the best between Hu Tao and Diluc? Well, the answer isn't that simple because it all depends on what content you'll be facing and the situation you find yourself in. If you're looking for the highest damage output of the two, regardless of the situation, Hu Tao is definitely the way to go, but this higher DPS is locked behind certain conditions. If you're looking for a more versatile and less situational unit, Diluc is the way to go. All in all, I think that both of those Pyro main DPS are top choices for your teams, and either one of them has the ability to obliterate any and all content of the game. I strongly believe that the choice of a unit should rely on your appreciation of their kit, their design, their playstyle, and their investment costs. In the case of Hu Tao and Diluc, they will remain on top of the tier lists as long as Vaporize and Melt dominate the game, so it doesn't really matter who hits the hardest, and you should go with the one that you prefer playing overall. The choice comes down to a high risk, high reward gameplay for Hu Tao, and a more versatile, less situational, and more approachable playstyle for Diluc. Now that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out.